Jamaica is at a changing and a pivotal point in its economic growth.
We try to identify businesses that has a good value proposition as well as can create a competitive advantage in the marketplace.
By including 2 startups this season, we want to showcase to the public the dynamic of being at that stage, or if they're in that phase, how they can take their businesses to the next level.
People, resources, infrastructure, it costs. What we look to do as investors is to enable that growth by financing that next phase.
This is a high-stakes competition for an equity investment of up to $50 million.
In preparation for their final pitch, the entrepreneurs had a practice pitch and training session with Lysandra Rickards, Entrepreneur Development Consultant at the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship, and Robin Levy, Deputy General Manager at the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Pitching is important because it forces you to solidify all that you know and experience about your company into a very short, to the point, pithy presentation. What is a knockout winner for an investor is finding a company that can scale into a developed market. In the elevator pitch, wow me, intrigue me. In the investor pitch, show me that you're credible and that you can execute. Hi guys.
Hi.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna put 10 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Okay, and go.
Hi, my name is Maria Wilson. My twin sister Maria and I are the co-founders and managing directors of Deja Fruit All Natural Sorbet. Our company manufactures and wholesales a line of single serving all natural fruit sorbet. Since starting our business in January 2013, our sales were primarily derived from 4 clients. Even with that limited customer base, we exceeded our expectations and sold over 12,000 units in our first year. So at this time, what we are looking for is a strategic partner, actually. One that could also provide capital, and we're looking in the range of 25 million. Currently, we're in a space that's quite small, and we need additional space in order to accommodate the additional volume that we would have.
On competitive advantages, the question that popped into my head that I think the investors would ask you is how easy is it for a creamy to do sorbets? How easy is it for those competitors to jump into your space?
Right.
Let me tell you what investors are looking for the story. Great product, great team, getting traction. And that's exactly your story. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So if you want, you can even borrow that. What I didn't hear coming across so solidly was this is a premium product, premium pricing, our margins are high, so even if our volumes are low, we're still good.
They are.
We're all natural, you punch up the fat-free part.
Hi Dave, go.
I'm CEO of Mobile Money Solutions, and what we do is that we seek to ease the hardships involved with bill payments or the general movement of money. So our advantages, we're actually first in the market with live bill amounts in the form of an app or a web version. With Mobile Money Solutions, there's a one set monthly fee of $1 per month. For the startup round, we are seeking $10 million just to get us off the ground and to get a team behind a product that we think is useful and users will want.
Okay, you had a lot of time left. You were at 7 minutes, so you had 3 whole minutes left.
I guess I speak quickly when I'm nervous.
I'm unsure that $1 a month will make you a good return on this investment.
You're being very kind.
What does your cost structure look like compared to that revenue? Because you'll need a huge number of customers to make money at $1 a month. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, we have 2 streams that we were looking at. One is actually US dollars, but we're thinking that we can actually create a corporate tool to manage bill payment for companies.
I still don't know what I get for my $10 million.
Okay.
What is that?
For $10 million, we're actually offering 10% in the business.
So your business is worth $100 million?
Off the top of my head, yes.
$100 million. and you don't have a product, you don't have a board, you don't have a prototype, what do you have that's right now that's worth $100 million? You really think your business is worth $100 million now?
When you say 100 million, it sounds a lot.
It is a lot.
But what
it's
we
not
have...
Potty.
You're watching NCB Capital Quest. We'll be right back. You're watching NCB Capital Quest.
Hi, Sarah and Brian.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I'm going to put you guys on the clock. 10 minutes. Ready?
Ready.
Sure.
All right, go.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Stanford and I'm the CEO of Bliss Bridal Boutique. The international destination wedding market is a $16 billion US market. Jamaica is the #1 location for destination brides in the Caribbean. And with that in mind, we've partnered with hotels such as Couples, Iberostar, and Secrets to provide their destination brides with our dress rental service. So what we're asking from the investors today is a $25 million investment for a 25% equity share in our company.
Now, how are we going to use these funds? Firstly, as we mentioned, we're going to need a larger store. We're going to need more inventory. Yes, social media has done very well, but now maybe we need to go into some traditional marketing as well. What's important to note here is that we have estimated that we can start a return on dividends using quarterly dividends 7.5%. over starting Q1 and over 2 years, your investment should be fully returned.
I want to get a little bit more confidence in your ability to secure these exclusive contracts on both the supply and the demand side. Don't offer the dividends up front. Make the investor ask for that.
Okay. No problem.
No problem.
Maybe you want to look again at your valuation. Remember the negotiation
Yes.
class, and I'll say no more. Right?
As a negotiating
you
strategy.
guys are making it very hard for me. She's smiling because all I'm hearing is, I told you.
told you
Didn't I
so.
tell you? I told you.
I'm really excited this morning to introduce our company, Icon Importers and Distributors, to you. Icon is located in Sablama, Westmoreland, and was established in 1999. We service the hospitality trade and also the renewable energy sector. Our business grew from less than initial investment of less than $100,000 to almost $1 billion today. We earn from distribution. That is what we do. Our products are imported and distributed to hotels, restaurants, and supervisors across the island. What's the market like for the product we're talking about now? Garbage bags. The market now consumes 4 to 5 40-foot containers per month, and each container is approximately 4,400 cases. Our competitive advantage: local manufacturing costs will allow us to wholesale our products below the cost of those imported from China. This will allow us to capture our market, selling to the market at a lower wholesale price than what our competition can offer now, or what even Icon is offering right now.
You've told a success story in distribution, and you're now saying you're going to go backwards, do some vertical integration, you go to manufacturing. That's a tough sell to compete with China. You also didn't mention Trinidad. I know we import some trash bags from Trinidad, especially in the supermarkets. You also missed, I think, the foreign exchange. Did you speak to the foreign exchange risk when you were outlining the risks? Because you're still going to be buying raw material from abroad.
Yes.
So you're going to still have FX risk, which can be significant. And an investor is going to want to think about that.
Okay.
I'm Maneen Marsh, CEO, co-founder of the Vinelist.com, and I'd just like to share something that I found out while I was in college. Shopping in emerging markets like Jamaica, it sucks. It's almost like pulling teeth. It's annoying. And so we developed a tech solution called the Vinelist. Our revenue model is simple. Between $50 to $300, a business could subscribe to our service on a monthly basis, and the price point determines just how much leads they get on a monthly basis. With our partnerships with Startup Jamaica, DevLabs, and Oasis 500, we have the perfect channel to distribute our product, not just in the Caribbean, but in Latin America and the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa. And what we're looking to do is just to completely revolutionize the way you think about shopping in these emerging markets by taking the maze out of it to make it very easy for buyers to find sellers through one unified platform. So,
do you have a demo of the?
Yes.
Do you have a prototype?
So, or we've pretty much practice the lean startup methodology. So from day one, we started prototyping before we figured out like how we were going to move the business. So we launched first with a Google form, where we use a Google form to collect what people wanted.
Are you Jamaican?
Yes.
Okay, you have an accent.
Yeah, so I worked with a BPO for a couple years, so we had to do accent training because I had a lot of overseas clients, so that's where this comes from. So this comes whenever I'm nervous.
So anyway, I don't think you said what it is you're looking for as an investment.
Right.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, or what it is you're offering for that investment. So, because otherwise, why are we here?
Yeah, that's true.
Now that the entrepreneurs have had a chance to practice their pitch for the first time, they'll go on to their second challenge, where one team will win and one member from the losing team will accumulate the dreaded penalty point.
Good morning, entrepreneurs.
Good morning.
And many entrepreneurs who have just started their own businesses need a toolkit with information on what they should be doing to put their businesses on the right track. Your challenge will be to create a 90-minute startup workshop with the essentials for a group of entrepreneurs who have been in business for fewer than 3 years. You will be divided into the same 2 teams as in the previous challenge. However, each team will be required to choose a new team leader. Each team must plan the event, book a guest speaker, and develop any audio-visual material you think you may need for your workshop. Both teams will get a list of 4 potential guest speakers from which to choose your guest speaker. Teams will run their workshops simultaneously to a group of 10 to 15 new companies. The attendees will have comment cards, and the team with the most points will be selected as the winner. Each team will be given $80,000 to purchase material for the workshop.
The winning team from Back to Basics will receive an additional $11,790, which was their dollar sales achieved in Back to Basics.
Teams, you now have 90 minutes for your strategy session.
Brian and I said we wouldn't mind taking a leadership role on this, right, Brian?
Yeah, well, that's up to you guys.
Everybody good with that?
We're good with that.
Okay.
So,
No problem.
You know, our business is almost 4 years old now, and we've had to go through a lot, you know, made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of triumphs and stuff, and so we thought that it would have been a good opportunity for us to put our best foot forward in this particular challenge. So we feel pretty good about it. We met, was it a bar or a party that was being held at a bar, I think? He stops me, and the first and only thing he says to me is,
Those shoes are fabulous. When it actually ended up at your party for New Year's Eve, and that's where I saw Craig again. That's when I realized that they was best friend. And I pulled him aside somewhere in the middle of the party and say, hey, I married a girl.
he has so much passion, one for me.
I know way too much about wedding. Most of our posts seem to be doing well.
I love that picture of him.
Yeah, but this one doing the better one. We were trying to get married. We visited some places. It wasn't going to work for finding her address. And her mother was the one that actually came out and said, why don't you guys do that? We started talking about, hey, you know, we can do this, we can do that, and
and crunch numbers,
and figure out
everything.
We opened our store a month after we got married.
I think the first thing we need to do is book the speaker.
We have biographies. Thalia Lynn.
Okay.
There is Nicole Campbell. There is Audrey Stewart Hinchcliffe. There is Patrice Wilson White.
we are really going to be presenting on the strategies for growth.
Right.
But she has demonstrated. She's an example of that. So
Right,
if she could
exactly.
share
Right. But
a
what I'm
little
saying
bit-
is I think we should
hold
just
on.
try and call before the other team.
What I was saying is we could basically ask her to give us a little of her journey, which will kind of validate the kind of strategy.
Right,
I think perhaps in the first challenge, I might have allowed other persons to out-talk me in the planning stage. But quite often, one may mistake the persons who talk the most for having the best or the strongest activities.
Well, I get that. I'm
We
just
need to
saying, let's
call
make
her
the phone
first,
call before
and
the
then
other team
confirm
call
her,
her.
and then make a decision after
And
that.
yeah.
And then because we may or may not get her, and we have to ship. So let's see if we can get her first, okay? Currently, I'm not concerned about Moses' performance. He's contributed well. To be honest with you, the last challenge we did, he contributed well. Exactly. It was just, as the judges said, who was the least, right? The least, the contributed the least. I think it was to say it wasn't that he did not contribute or that he was poor, right? But you know, this is a conversation that we don't really need to have because we're not going to lose.
Join the conversation online using hashtag NCB Capital Quest. You're watching NCB Capital Quest.
First things first, who's going to be the team lead?
I think I'll take the lead on this one. Gardentown is similar to a nice country area, but it's not as far.
We have the river beside us, and you have the trees.
Shrimp, crayfish, lobster, everybody tastes the same as long as they add pepper to it.
Growing up, we didn't really have access to a lot of technology, so as soon as I reached high school, which is Jamaica College, I encountered computers, which was fascinating for me because you don't have a personal PC at home. I want to be able to give my mom stuff that I didn't have growing up, and basically to make sure that when she's retired, she's comfortable.
Want some water?
Sure, thanks.
You eat?
No, not yet. Garth and I grew up together in Gardentown. Whatever business entity that we're going into, we're always going to as a team because we're like-minded. I want to keep a bigger treat this year, full of square bunks about them thing there. Yeah, man. We held a treat last year, December. So our aim was to teach 300 kids about dispute resolution techniques. 2 years ago, we entered a competition called Digital Jam, and we entered an app called CrimeBot. That app and its success showed me that one small idea can have such a windfall of results that it's worth pursuing ideas.
What's your school motto again?
So, favorite opus in campus. That's Jamaica College. Work is always burning in the field. I'm telling you.
It's going to be tough to relate to Miss Lynn, as she's so established.
Nicole is also an entrepreneur, which would be similar to what we're trying to do. She's an entrepreneur, she understands the struggles, and she's there now.
Right.
She's young. Maybe that's the age group that we're kind of targeting, maybe 18 to 25 thereabout.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. Is this Miss Nicole Campbell? My team and I are having a workshop tomorrow for startups, and we were wondering if you were available.
I'd like to really understand what your overall objectives are, so that I can make sure that the speech or the talk is as relevant as possible and makes the most sense in your context.
I'm a startup, and I've been to many startup workshops, and I'm still in startup phase, which means that I should have information that is valuable to other startups. I think we introduce ourselves, who the speaker will be, and then the public. Does that flow?
I think it should be the public, then the speaker.
Yeah, me too.
So team, introductions, then the public
group, and then the speaker, and then she can start right afterwards.
And then she can go right into her
spiel. Oh, you want her to speak before us? You think that's because remember she's a power speaker, so she will definitely outspeak us. So
okay, I think we should do it this way. Yeah. Then. I think we should do the team introductions, us, then the public group introductions, then our stories, and then introduce the speaker, and then she speaks. Right. I think that flows better.
Yeah, I think that flows better as well.
Our aim is to educate, empower, and encourage startups. So once we are successful doing that, then we would have done our task well, and we would have separated ourselves from the other team.
As a startup doing a startup workshop, it's a bit ironic initially.
Sandra Glasgow, mentor to the entrepreneurs, visited them and gave them valuable insight during their strategy session.
So, what are you planning?
People who are starting a business are in the early stages of a business, they really don't have, they have so many things that they don't know.
Yes.
And sometimes they make a lot of mistakes before they find out what questions they should be asking or how they should be thinking about starting doing their business, because there are just so many moving parts. The other companies are traditional businesses. They think traditionally, they operate like corporate Jamaica, where startups, they're a bit new. They approach business a bit differently. So it allowed us to kind of or it allowed me to pretty much share some of the problems that I have and some of the things that I'd be looking for in a workshop, which kind of helped guide our thinking while we were planning today.
I think the thing to guard against is making it too much of a talk shop. You're going to give them a package, a workshop package. Is that the idea?
That's what we would like. That's what we'd like to do.
Do you have time to get all of that
Well, I'm
together?
not sure if time is so much the issue as it is
As
budget.
Okay, we do have a budget.
We do have a budget.
Morning, guys. Morning. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good.
And you?
I'm great. All right.
All right.
Tell me what you're planning.
Basically, we think it would be best if we try to solve some of the problems that startups are having or generally have, and see how best we can come up with solutions as well as give advice.
Okay.
But we want to cater to two groups, those who are early and those who are trying but are not successful. So I'm not sure how we can bridge the gap with the information that we have.
I'm hearing the ideas. I think the next thing is to figure out the structure and how your guest speaker fits into that, right?
Right.
So have you thought about who the guest speaker might be?
Yes, I think we're going to go with Nicole Campbell.
You know, experiential learning is the best kind of learning. So you'll probably want them to do something.
Some exercise.
Some exercise that will bring out some of those key learnings. Is it going to be a case study? Is it going to be some team game?
Being a startup myself, I think it's good to be on level terms with other startups to share information to see how best we can aid each other. All right, the name for it is Startup Summit. I think we agreed on that name. So I want to do a poster, and we basically did a discussion on the 3 Ps, product, people, and processes. So give us something nice for that. All right. Good? All right. Can you see the prices on this stuff?
I have it. She has a price list. We need the chairs.
Oh, the chairs are not included?
No.
Minimum? Oh, so
minimum of 10 chairs required.
So chairs
we
is...
have to pay for that.
All right, so let's budget it out, guys.
The extra funds that we got from winning the first challenge, of course, is always helpful. We actually didn't use all of it. So it was the chairs, the podium, the projector and the screen, and the 2 tables. Right.
Yeah. All right, so how are we in terms of budget?
We're good. We're at 57.3.
While it was good to have the safety net, we didn't think we needed to go spend everything. PA system is 15 grand.
What else?
Projectors on screen.
How much is a projector?
45 grand. I think we have more or less just spent 80 grand. Well, let's see. Wow.
Hopefully we have...
You realize this doesn't leave anywhere in the budget to get any pens and notepads for anybody.
Hopefully I have a little bit left.
You know, it's funny, when they first told us what the budget was, and they said 80,000, we're like, whoa. What are we going to do with $80,000? I mean, we just couldn't. So we figured something had to have been
And then we saw
missing.
the price list.
And then we saw the price
So
list.
that makes sense.
Sorry.
Yes.
Do you think we could take, is it okay to take these on the handouts we would put in them for the,
I don't know, you know?
but we don't have
If
enough.
that's the case, then we have pens too.
So
Name tags, the thumb drives, the print drive, the folders.
And then the day planner, where is that?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Where did it go?
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. How much did we spend?
5,300.
Change.
I have the...
The receipt. I think we got everything. So let's double check to make sure that we're covered. And I think it's time that we did the agenda, you think?
We have 90 minutes, and I had the intro/game at 10 minutes.
Then we're going to have the team building event.
Team building. How it is now, it flows.
I've never played the game, but we wanted to make sure that there was give and take time if needs be.
You're watching NCB Capital Quest. We'll be right back.
Can we get together, please, and go over the presentation? That's priority number one right now.
Team A's guest speaker, Nicole McLaren Campbell, is the founder and CEO of AIM Educational Services, which provides college and graduate school advisory and placement opportunities.
We're basically using what we call a three-principle prong approach, where you generally should be focusing on your product, your people, and the process. Right. And so Maria and myself are going to be talking about the product aspect of it. Dave is going to be taking care of the process. So we wanted you to take care of the people side of it.
All right.
Team B's guest speaker, Audrey Hinchcliffe, is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, Jamaica's premier facilitator of commercial cleaning.
We're giving a presentation today on, it's called Starting a Startup, right? So what we want to do, or what we plan on doing, the objective is to give the attendees here some basic information, some things they need to think about when starting a startup. Maneen will do a little introduction, we'll do a little introductory game, and then after that Maneen will get into his presentation of the 10 things every entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur should ask themselves. Right? After that, Brian is going to go into a marketing presentation, and then Moses is going to go into a presentation about growing the business and corporate governance, keeping your house in order, right? After that, Moses will introduce you as a speaker, and then that's when we'll ask you to speak about the, 5 biggest mistakes you've made and how you've overcome them, okay? Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Sarah. Take a seat up front.
Hello everyone, welcome to Starting a Startup. Today we're pretty much going to be going over what it is that a startup, or when you're starting a business, some of the things that you want to be talking about. The key objectives of this workshop is really a crash course, some quick tips to get started. Sometimes when we're starting a business, oftentimes the hard questions, we leave them in the air, we keep them in our heads. And the first question you want to ask is, who are you? What do you do? And you want to be very concise with your definition. It's very important that you can define yourself, right? Because it's sometimes one of the hardest things to do, to try to narrow your offering into 140 characters. But it kind of helps you, the more you practice, the more you get into it, you can focus on the fundamentals of your business. And it's very important that you also be able to decipher what is your practical purpose and your emotional purpose. Your practical purpose is very straightforward. It is like, what is a practical reason why you exist? So for Neurotech, I'm aware it is to educate, it's to teach people, it's to give them a medium for them to learn, right? But the emotional purpose is, how do you want them to feel when they're using your service? Like, what is that core principle that you want them to walk away with when they use your business, right? And when you're cognizant of that, and you write that, and you share that with your team, then everything that you do will sync up with that with that vision, with that emotional purpose.
Today we're going to talk about marketing, right? So you've already have your 10 ideas, your 10 questions, you're thinking about it, right? But just because you open the business and there's a door and whatever, who's walking in, right? Believe me when I say, you have friends, some of them will support, but that can't keep your business open. So now we have to go and try and reach people. Let's say you actually are serving products, you actually have physical products. Are you going to start now thinking about trade shows? Right? The power of a trade show is that at this point, people can see your product, feel your product, smell your product, even taste your product, depending on what your product is.
Your customers need to have confidence. You know what? Yeah. Your customers need to have confidence in what you're doing and what you're selling. How can you get that done? First of all, you need to align yourself with the experts in the field. Who are the industry leaders? Who are the people that people respect? For the ladies in the room who watch TLC and watch Say Yes to the Dress, right? You know Randy Finoli from Kleinfelds, and you know Monty Durham from Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta. When a bride walks into my store, on this wall there's a picture of me with Randy Finoli. On this wall there's a picture of me with Monty and Lori, right? So when they walk in, they say, whoa, she knows these people, right? So those are the type of things that you need to do. It creates a level of confidence.
We must have a business plan. And the business plan cannot be something up here. We have to take it from here and put it on paper. because it's not about us alone. And a plan is something that must be so strong that when we put it out there, if I'm not around tomorrow, you see, if we don't have it on paper, we can't afford to get sick. We can't afford to take vacation. We can't even afford to die. Otherwise, that plan is going to die with us. So it must be on paper for people.
Entrepreneurship is a very sexy word. Very sexy, but I can tell you it is the hardest job in the world. I have had my share of mistakes and pitfalls, so I must put them in the context of how I got into owning and running a business. So what are the mistakes? The business type and the assumption that people want what you're selling. The second mistake I made was no business plan, no working capital. Business plan never exists those days. Just like the word entrepreneur, it didn't exist. So I was basically winging it. Trying to do everything by myself almost did me in, because I figure health was in my head. Just like you say, if you don't have a plan, if it's not written down, it's gonna die with you, and it almost did. The fourth mistake I made is that I took too long to change course. Too long to change course. The cleaning and other businesses were beckoning. But you know, the nice thing of being the consultant and out there and what have you. So I started to change course, focus on my business, and the business grew so fast that today, 26 years later, I am very, very comfortable where I am. The last mistake was overexposure and rapid growth. Rapid growth will kill your business. If you don't have the infrastructure, the skill and whatnot to manage that business when it starts to grow, especially the fact that my business is labor intensive. So out of training and getting those people to work, out of the business came a training institute. I share my story with you to show you that with the lumps and bumps, you can become successful. Thank you very much for inviting me, and God bless you all.
It was good. It was entertaining.
Personally, I would really love to learn a little bit more about the specifics of registering your business and trademark and the whole behind the scenes.
I think the audience received our presentation really, really well. One of the things I was looking for when I was in the back when everybody else was presenting was to see how they, how interactive they were, how they participated, and they chuckled at certain things. You could hear the oohs and ahs and the, oh yeah, I go through that type of a thing.
When you have people of such varying backgrounds and what have you, you don't have time to be one-on-one or, that narrowly focused. But the broad base of the presentation, I think most of them or every one of them can relate to. Because, see, with business, it depends on the type of business you are in. So the information you are gathering may not be relevant to you at this time. But later down the road, when you begin to expand and grow and what, some of it will still remain with you where they got the information from.
Thank you. Thank you, still morning, sorry. Good morning, everyone. Rushing the day. To thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming to Startup Summit. So basically today we're trying to do two things. We're trying to empower and we're trying to share information.
The focus of your company, once it's been established, should be on the following key marketing characteristics which we have listed here. Obviously, the product or the service that you're selling. You want to make sure that your price point is correct for the market that you're going to serve and for the location. You want to make sure that your packaging is clearly defined for your product. Therefore, that people can clearly see what's being sold. Also, you want to make sure that when you are starting your business, that you did some type of customer target or profile for your particular product in your target area or industry. And last but not least, you want to make sure you have a social media presence as a key marketing characteristic for your company. And that clearly can mean Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, those type of things.
Pivots. Everybody know what pivot means? It's basically you build this killer idea and nobody like it. But if you take off the first shelf, people like it. most persons who have a vision say, oh, no, this is what I want. You're not selling to yourself, basically. I mean, you have to have passion for what you do, but at the end of the day, you need to form a business around your startup if you plan to make money, unless you're just doing it for social good. But the idea of a startup is to be a sustainable business. So you have to be able to pivot. If something doesn't work, do not be afraid to take off that shelf and work with the second shelf beneath it, and then build up again, because you're going to force yourself into a corner where you alone love your product, nobody trying it. You don't want that. So at some point, you need to make a decision about whether or not your business strategy has a reasonable chance of success. This is time where you need to decide either pivot or persevere. For most of us as Jamaicans, we persevere because we're stubborn. I mean, this is my idea, it's killer. Why am I going to change it? But at the end of the day, you have to have a rationale. Do I need to change anything for this to work better?
You can't build a business without people. As entrepreneurs, we have to remember we're also people. So it means a continuous commitment, first of all, to building yourself. And it's a deliberate commitment. If we really want to take it to the next level, it takes deliberate work. We have to be living this life on purpose. It's not a by chance thing, and if it happen kind of thing. So that was one thing that I learned was really important, and I continue to renew that commitment even on a daily basis. When you just start your business, you have to look at your budget and see what you can afford and what you can allow. But you always remember that you build people, and then the people build the business. So you have to be taking that interest. So because I know that exercising and eating well is important for energy level mean more productivity, a benefit that I offer to my team members is gym membership. Because that's really you have to feel energized to get the job done. So try to look at what you can do to build the people that are part of your team. Some of it is free. I send them articles, and when we meet weekly, that's the other thing. You must carve out time to train your team. One mistake I made when I just started my business is thinking them just going to learn everything as them go along and then just magic. It's not magic. It's deliberate time carved out for training and development.
Do you guys feel empowered?
Thank you very much.
Could you give her a nice round of applause?
I think I feel inspired and motivated, and I got a lot of good points that I will integrate into my strategy.
Due to the fact that I am a baker and I specialize in products and that I would like to export, that's what I'd love to hear about, something more like on an international market or export basis or something like that.
I thought Team A's presentation was very relevant. I thought it was inspirational and really should give entrepreneurs a good toolkit and sense of where they can go to solve different issues.
We think that we were well received by our audience, the startups, and we think that we gave them critical information, and we tried our best to empower them, and we felt that we achieved that mission.
You're watching NCB Capital Quest. We'll be right back. The judges are CEO of NCB Capital Markets, Stephen Gooden, Carrie Robinson, Managing Partner of Norbrook Caribbean Investment Company, and the guest judges are Marcia Reed Grant, Assistant General Manager for Retail Banking at NCB, and Harold Davis, Deputy CEO of the Jamaica Business Development Corporation.
Good evening, entrepreneurs.
Good evening.
Welcome back to the NCB Capital Quest boardroom.
Your challenge today was a startup toolkit where you had to create a 90-minute startup workshop designed for entrepreneurs who are in business for less than 3 years.
The startup entrepreneurs rated your presentation using comment cards. The team that gets the most points wins.
Team leaders, briefly tell us how the project went, starting with Team B.
We all thought that each one of us should do a presentation, so we had to decide on timing and how we were going to get that done, and wanted to give them the basic things that we thought every aspiring entrepreneur or startup would need.
Who was the guest speaker, and why did you choose that particular individual?
The guest speaker was Mrs. Audrey Hinchcliffe from Manpower. She's been in business for very many years. She's built a company that has a staff of over 1,200 employees, and that's no small feat. Right? What we thought was, why don't we have her come and speak on the 5 biggest mistakes I've made in business.
How did you assess the challenges, and therefore how did you decide on the content based on the challenges for the entrepreneur?
Well, I think it was a fairly simple decision. We all have been through the entrepreneurial process, and we've all have had times when we've been knocked down. So we thought she was a great presenter for the audience. Yes, they're new businesses, but it is extremely important to recognize that, listen, it's not going to be smooth sailing. Your first year, you might get 100 customers, 1,000 customers, and you may be on cloud 9. But guaranteed at some point in time, something's going to come and knock you down. And you need to know how to get back up. And we thought it was important that she brought that to the presentation.
Okay. So let's get some perspective from you guys. How did it go for you, and just walk us through some of your thought processes?
Please indulge me as I provide you a bit of sample of what we gave other startups. We basically created a package for each of them. And in this package, we basically gave the bio of the presenter, a resource kit, and the agenda for the day.
Tell us a bit, about the rationale for choosing Nicole Campbell.
We focus on the 3 Ps, which is the process, the product, and the people. So we dissected the topics into 3 presentations. I took the process side, my teammates took the product, and our speaker did the people. Our speaker doing the people is because, as you can see in her bio, she's an empowerment coach. She's able to make persons feel a sense of need, a sense of want, give them the extra energy that they need to get to the extra mile. So that was our core focus.
It's interesting that you use your guest speaker as a part of your presentation instead of standing on her own as a guest speaker. Can you tell me what drove that decision?
While we were going through her bio, we realized that she actually started really small. She understood what it was like to start with nothing as a startup. And being an empowerment coach, we realized that the two can actually go hand in hand. She can relate her story of how she started, our many failures, our many successes, and that's relatable to all startups.
Marie, why don't you tell me a little bit about whether or not you felt the target market that you were speaking to, if your presentation was appropriate for them?
I believe it was, and it was intentional. We wanted to, as Dave said, keep it simple. When you attend these workshops, you really want to keep the objective, at least from our perspective, fairly narrow. There's so much information out there for a startup, so we didn't want to overwhelm our guests because, again, we didn't know exactly what stages they all were in. We only knew less than 3 years. So it was just keeping it narrow, simple, and something that they can easily take away and follow up on in their own business.
It's based on the questions that were asked. How effective do you think that strategy was actually?
We believe it was actually pretty effective based on the questions we received. They asked pertinent questions that were on the slides that would have generated additional information. And that's exactly what we wanted. Startup is a pretty vague term. So we just wanted to keep it simple and make sure that they got the core message from our workshop.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. I think we'll now move on to revealing the winner.
Join the conversation online using hashtag NCB Capital Quest. You're watching NCB Capital Quest.
Based on the points of 230 and 219, Team A, you have lost the challenge. Congratulations, Team B, as you have won the challenge. You may now leave the boardroom.
We put our effort into it. We all did a very good presentation, I think, and everything was on time. It's nice to know that we don't have to go through what we went through before.
Dave, Mr. Team Leader, tell us where you think you went wrong.
I do personally feel that we had a plan and we executed it well, but at some point we may have lost 1 or 2 persons during our conversations, and naturally as a team leader you go down with the ship, so I'm at fault for this one. Something didn't go well. I'm not really sure what that was, and so I really need to look into what could have gone wrong. Where did we lose 1 or 2 persons?
Well, thank you for that. I guess at this point we're going to look at some of the comment cards that we got from the entrepreneurs and do some deliberation, so you can go ahead and exit the boardroom. Thank you.
We're not sure where exactly we went wrong, but we had a plan, we stuck to it, we executed well, so I guess maybe one or two contestants didn't actually like the presentation.
We have 2 data points here. We have feedback on the comment cards, which pretty much say that they're basically tied.
Right.
So just looking at the 2 data points and in support of the points made earlier, I would have to say that the leader has to take responsibility this time around.
As a leader, he did take responsibility. So he stood up there and it was easy, especially in a context type framework. He could have easily tried to push the blame and say, hey, I did everything I was supposed to do. And
he did apologize.
His
to
first
his
thing,
team.
right,
Yeah.
and I respect that as a leader.
Yeah.
The one comment said the guest speaker was the highlight of the workshop.
The strategy to use, the product, the process, and the people is a good strategy in general, because if you have 90 minutes to nail this, you want to leave them with some clear and defined takeaways. So it was the how, and the how, they never really hit the nail on the head at all with the how. The theater seat thing does never work. The persons are holding stuff in them lap to right and, and things of that nature.
On the other hand, though, when I read some of these comments about Deja Fruit, one of the major things that they said, they didn't speak enough about investing in expansion of a business. So it was about startups, but nothing about the growth element and how to deliver or drive growth. Something that they're living right now. So I think they missed the opportunity there to engage that specific target market on showing them or at least enabling them in the growth process of their businesses. Let's get them back in the boardroom. Welcome back. Based on our consultations, we got some pretty interesting feedback, some that I think may be very helpful for you. It's key to note that both teams had 9 entrepreneurs that they spoke to, and when we looked on your 9, I think there's a lot that you can learn from the feedback and your future in terms of presenting and moving forward with these types of projects. That said, with the information and the deliberations, we've decided who contributed the least.
Mobile Money Solutions, you are the least valuable team member.
Thank you. Mobile Money Solutions, this is your first penalty point. Team A, you can now leave the boardroom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Naturally, I'm a leader, so if it goes wrong, then it's my fault. So next time, I guess I have to do better and refocus my energy to be more clear. I guess that's it.
On the next episode of NCB Capital Quest.
You must design and execute a Kingston Tour app for the city of Kingston.
I've never even used an app, so to create one was just like foreign.
Your app must solve a problem.
That's perfect.
National Gallery now.
I'm done. Run.
So why a mobile app, you ask? Is it practical?
You didn't put anything on there related to music. It's focused on 2 types of travelers, the business traveler and the family traveler.
What is the most innovative aspect?
Welcome to the Capital Quest boardroom.
What was your challenge execution strategy?
I think our strategy went really well.
This was more than just a challenge.
Now it's time to reveal the winner.